Hello and thanks for staying on LN 24/7. This is Politics Now. My name is Morno Balagbobo. All around the country, there's been a lot of conversation in the world of politics, either from party politics to the Senate and to governance in general. But in the next couple of minutes, we're going to see how we can review some of what has happened. And therefore, our focus today on the show will be on the current state of politics in Nigeria. Let's give you a rundown of some of our talking points. First, we'll look at politics of interests, lingering defections and possible alignments for 2027. And talking about political crisis still lingering in, some states. This time around, we want to focus on Rivers State as a case study and look at the way forward. And we'll also touch down on the alleged misconduct by the 10th Senate President, Godswill Akpabio. And of course, with us live in our studios here in Abuja is Honorable Peter Hassan, Labour Party Chieftain, former Kaduna State Labour Chairman, and presently State Labour Executive Secretary for the Labour Party. He is from southern part of Nigeria, and of course, definitely will be giving us some perspective about former Governor of Kaduna State, Governor El-Rufai's defection from the APC to SDP. He's also a pastor, a businessman, a political consultant, analyst, and also 2019 Southern Kaduna senatorial candidate under the platform, of course, of the Labour Party. And the list goes on and on. But let's welcome our guest, Honorable Peter Hassan. Good to have you back in our studios in Abuja.
Thank you very much.
The last time you were here till this time, there's just been a whole lot happening in the world of politics. Sometimes, as journalists, we're preparing for a particular show, and before you know, something bigger just destabilize your preparations, and you're like,
because we are alive, so change is constant thing. Happenings are inevitable because we are alive. So we will continue to experience this until we get to the promised land.
And that was why I said, okay, I'm going to have you on the show today so that we can just kind of summarize, some of the major political activities in our country, Nigeria. So I want us to start with the politics of interest, lingering defections and possible alignments. On this particular show, we've covered defections in the National Assembly with lawmakers moving from one political party, whether it's from the PDP or from the Labour Party to APC. It's just been a beehive of political alignment, so to speak. And recently, former Kaduna State Governor El-Rufai dumped the APC, alleging the APC is behind the internal crisis rocking opposition parties. This was a statement he released on his X. That was on Tuesday. And blaming the APC for what's going on in PDP, NNPP, and in a viral video on X, he claims that President Bola Tinubu's administration is deliberately sponsoring disputes within these parties. And we know, of course, the implications of some of these disputes has led to people leaving their political parties. And he further alleged that the internal struggles within NNPP, including reported expulsion of Kwankwaso, were orchestrated to destabilize the party. And also recently, about 10,000 members, thank God you're here, so you would give us factual reporting. If that is true, 10,000 people decamping from Labour Party to ADC in Kaduna State. And in reaction, Tijani Musa says he welcomes the decampees. That was what he said on Saturday. And he says this marks a significant milestone in the journey towards creating positive democratic change in Kaduna State and the nation at large. Also, speculations over the last week touted that El-Rufai Peter Obi ticket is likely possible. And our guest has confirmed to us that there have been meetings between these two political giants. And he said that Senator Bala Mohammed, of course, the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, denied those speculations that 5 of their members were in support of this alliance. Is the Labour Party ready to part ways with Peter Obi, or let me put it properly, is Peter Obi even himself ready to part ways with the Labour Party? So, sir, good to have you with us on the show again. So, let's start with Peter Obi, with Governor El-Rufai. You're from Kaduna State. You witnessed 8 years of his administration, and of course, the Uber Sani administration currently. We know he's been making some comments about the APC. I mean, we saw how he candidly campaigned for President Muhammadu Buhari, then not up till when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came into power, and then, we felt he was going to get a big appointment, but that didn't show up. I have been with meetings with the APC Media Publicity Secretary Felix Moka. I've interviewed him on this show, and he's told me time and time again that, I mean, these are just people who are angry, so to speak, of not being given any appointment. But you're from Kaduna State. You know him. You know his hometown. So what can you say about all of that's played out over this past few days?
Thank you, LN27, for having me. I am Peter Hassan, as earlier introduced. The Nigerian politics is a total super story.
Really, and, a super story.
Super story is a program a poetry program that every week you will get a display, a new script, a new actors. So Nigerian politics is like that. Well, coming down to what you said concerning Nasri El-Rufai, Malam Nasri El-Rufai was one time governor. He was the former governor of Kaduna State for 8 years. And during his time as a politician, he played his role. Positively, negatively, he has a conscience. And the people also know. Nasri El-Rufai came with a very good program for the Kaduna people. Where immediately he assumed into power, most of the program that Nasri El-Rufai brought on board became something of pains. Sacking of teachers, sacking of workers, demolition of people's houses, collecting of people's property forcefully. Most of this came to play. And I would say it's not a new thing. That was the same thing that happened when he was the minister of FCT. So it was a replicant of what we saw in Kaduna. But I want to tell you, 8 years in Kaduna with El-Rufai, it wasn't funny.
So do you support all the ruling APC? I recall a post by David Boala saying this is going to be inconsequential for the party. Do you think he still has that following?
Yes, if every politician have his followers, it's normal. No matter how every human being, not even politician, every human being, even the handicapped, the physically challenged, they have those who support them, they have those who like them. It's a natural thing that God has created. But for Nasri El-Rufai, he will certainly have those who are benefited when he's in power. Don't forget, when he was in power as the governor of Kaduna State, first, he has commissioners, he has SAs, he has people who has benefited from his government. So no matter what, and some are still benefiting because of his good gesture.
Now, the reason I ask that question is looking beyond Kaduna now, like the North as a whole.
For the issue of the North, I want to tell you that a lot of case study comes from Kaduna State. El-Rufai, quote me anywhere, El-Rufai will not have the kind of followers people are anticipating because of the role he played in Kaduna State. Coming to the aspect of religious bigotry, El-Rufai didn't manage it well. Coming to the place of landscape and whatever, he didn't play it well. Coming to the place of employment and others, he didn't play it well. And so many states have seen the same thing. So he didn't play his game well. He knows he has a political ambition. So he's supposed to do what? He's supposed to stabilize it. But he didn't do that well. So I think, in my own opinion, he may not find it funny because whatever you are doing, there is a proverb we usually say in Hausa language, you say something that you forget. People who hear it, they will not forget. And people who experience it, they will still keep it inside themselves. And that is even the same thing, like what happened to IBB's confession. You can see IB confession is supposed to come with forgiveness and random let go. But his confession now is bringing what? A lot and a lot of flashback, and people have started coming out to claim for one damages, cry for one thing or the other. That's the same thing that will happen to El-Rufai, in my own opinion.
Now,
except if he decide to mend his way.
I was looking at his Facebook post where he, put out the statement, and he was calling for opposition parties, to come together to unseat President Tinubu. You saw all the allegations that he, called out against the APC and the president. You're a Labour Party chieftain. Would you say that this present administration and APC is behind some of the challenges that your party is having?
Certainly, if El-Rufai will say that, I want to agree with him, because one, El-Rufai is an elder statesman in APC. Two, he's not just ordinary an elder statesman. He's one of the voice of APC during the last 8 years of APC administration. We knew that 80% of whatever is happening in FCT, El-Rufai operates Kaduna from FCT. He's always in FCT, he's always in the Aso Rock, he's always in the presidency. And we saw all that place. So if it is what happened, it means it was his script that he wrote that is playing now. Yes, that's the script, because it started during, before, it started before, during and before the election, and after the election, the crisis is there for those who have crisis. And if El-Rufai is saying no, so is the script he played. Maybe the script he played, he didn't forget to add a clause, please carry me along. So since there is no clause of please carry me along, it's not being carried along. So he's not going back now to reveal the script that he has written.
This is not a matter of party ideology, because
no.
that was what he was referring to.
Yes. It is the matter of what the script that he followed them and they wrote, that we are going to destabilize all political party for our own gain. And now it's not working to his own his own game.
So with someone like his caliber, like you said, he brought a lot of, ideas and initiatives that, of course, brought about Muhammad Buhari.
Yes.
And now President Tinubu. So is he going with that wealth of knowledge, so to speak, secrets, to weaponize against the all-ruling party at the moment? Because now the choice of SDP was the rationale behind that. And, we've had these conversations that he's had meetings, which you confirmed to me with Peter Obi. I mean, those two, how will it work?
Yes, we have been hearing and we have been seeing on several social media, El-Rufai having meeting with this, having meeting with that. I think last week there was a presentation that El-Rufai had a meeting between him and Atiku and Peter Obi. We saw that in the social media. And for them to have that meeting, and today we are hearing it again. And not even that, the same son of El-Rufai who say there is nothing good that can come from Peter Obi is now doing what? Mouth hyping Peter Obi, calling Peter Obi every good name. Going back on his former vomit, swallowing his former vomit, licking his former vomit. Are you getting it? And I know very well who El-Rufai's son is. If he says A, he stands by it. If he says B, he stands by it. He will follow it to the latter. So for them to start, it means they have started romancing themselves behind. But don't worry, time will tell. We are going to see where this is going to end. But I feel, based on the last meeting they had, there is something that is cooking.
When your national secretary was on this program, I asked him categorically, is Peter Obi still with the party?
Yes.
And I want to
tell you, by Labour Party lay down constitution, Peter Obi has not officially, either directly or indirectly.
I'm not talking about official now.
Yes.
I'm talking about in terms of the camaraderie and some of the conversations that you would normally have.
Politics is a game that is a game of interest and a game of calculation. The time Peter Obi was relevant in the party was when he came and contested. Now, the tenure of Peter Obi contesting has ended with 2023. We are anticipating 2027. Peter Obi has not come to the party to say, I will be contesting for 2027. He has not come to say, oh, I want the forms. With even the fact that the timetable for the 2027 election, the electionary proceedings have not started. So I cannot come here and tell you that Peter Obi is still with the party or not. At the moment, as I said the last time I appeared here, every politician is doing calculation, permutation, consultation, taking advices from where and where he is going to lay his coast that may be favorable to him. Maybe that's what Peter Obi is doing. Just like we saw what El-Rufai was doing for the past 2 months. El-Rufai was visiting every individual to see how he can plant his tent. And at the end of the day, we have seen it, that he has moved to where? SDP. And he didn't even move with SDP. You know, I was so surprised when I heard that Nana de Usman also followed El-Rufai to SDP. And that was somebody that Peter Obi and Alex Oti were fronting to be the acting caretaker of Labour Party. You remember I told you that time, I said, this is just political games. And when it's time, we are going to see it. And that is just it today.
With this move of El-Rufai, are you seeing a situation where a lot of people are going to leave the All Progressive Congress?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Politics, as I said, is a game of interest. El-Rufai in his interest. It wasn't, don't forget that it wasn't one political party that made up the APC. It was several political parties that make up the APC. I was supposed to be part of the APC because as at then, when they created the APC, I was in ACN. But because I was not comfortable with the merger, I left ACN to Labour Party.
So will that be needed for 2027 to unseat APC?
I want to tell you that.
Will it take a merger?
I want to tell you that.
It seems to me that that is what it's going to take.
I want to tell you that it's not going to work that way. Everyday politics is a flash of book. You open a new page of book every day. Now, by political analysts, we have sat down to analyze it. The northern states took advantage of the merger, and they took over power. And after taking over power, something came up. The merger came between APC and all political parties. And when immediately the northern people came into power through Muhammadu Buhari, they forgot other stakeholders that play key roles in the merger. And they were concentrating only in the northern states. And that causes a lot of calculations and questioning. So I'm telling you now, if you're talking about merger, other political parties will go back to the drawing board again and check what happened when merger happened in Nigeria. Was it favorable or not? But I want to tell you very clear, Labour Party is not going to merge with anybody. Quote me anywhere. We did Katankpe, we did on our own. And we are ready to win the election.
But as confident as you are, some of your members are not really that confident because, I mean, I relate with some of them, especially the obedience, you know, who seem to be moving away from the Labour Party, so to speak.
No,
are you not concerned that
I am concerned to an extent, but I'm also not concerned to an extent. Now, I want you to know that Peter Obi came to Labour Party. He brought some people that he took from ABGA to PDP. And he brought some people again, he took from PDP, he brought them again to Labour Party. And it was ABGA, PDP that make up Obedient. Now, the Obedient are not really financial members of Labour Party. They are not financial members of Labour Party. They are followers, which a follower can decide to follow you today and can decide not to follow you the next minute. So I am telling you that the next candidate that will come for Labour Party will also come with his team. And that's politics.
All right, Honorable, let's move on to Rivers State. Still trying to look at the political space currently that we are in Nigeria. And, you know, in a bid to end the political crisis that has practically paralyzed Rivers State in recent months, Governor Similaye Fubara has invited the Amewole-led members of the House of Assembly to a meeting. And of course, that meeting was not honored. This was sequel to the receipt of the CTC of the Supreme Court, and the letter stated discussions will center on providing befitting space for the lawmakers to hold their sittings, as well as the presentation of the 2025 budget and payment of outstanding remuneration, and amongst other things are salaries. But the lawmakers who pledged allegiance to Fubara's immediate predecessor and current Federal Capital Territory Minister, Wike, shunned the meeting, citing irregularities in the invitation.
Don't stand there. Sorry. This window, wait, come this way, come this way.
Don't worry.
No, we captured him from here. Oh, sorry.
Clear, police. Clear one corner.
Come on, for road. Keep moving.
Make him fine. For position. And for position inside.
No go.
Sorry.
The gate is up.
Yeah.
All right, okay. There are no security men. Nobody to open the gate. They left. All of them.
I'm here myself this morning with members of a few members of the Executive Council to comply with the Supreme Court judgment. Before my arrival, I've already made several attempts by phone call to reach the Speaker and other members. I also did a letter personally which was transmitted to the Honorable Speaker for this particular invitation. But it's unfortunate that at the gates, you can see that the place is completely sealed and there's no sign that anything is going to happen today. The reason why we're doing this, I've always said it, is the interests of our people, which is the most important thing. Well, I don't think there's anything to worry about. Maybe they are working on their letter. I expect to hear from them maybe after this hour. Thank you.
And I mean, we've seen this playing back and forth. And of course, recently, yesterday, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had a meeting with Niger Delta leaders saying he has done all he can, one-on-one. He has spoken, you recall that pact that he designed to solve the whole thing. But let's have a listen to what the president told the Niger Delta leaders on Tuesday.
I got your signal, and I got your concern, particularly concerning River State. I've been on it for quite some time. I've moved on it before now. I foresee this crisis festering for too long before I entered into it. we reach an agreement, written agreement. Both parties signed. Some leaders thought the governor of Rivers State was wrong to have signed, but they didn't implement. Where do we find ourselves today? So this is a nation of rule of law. I should not be here as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria if there's no rule of law. I have total confidence in our judiciary. Expectations. Human beings can make errors. But when we say Supreme Court is spoken, that's it. Please go back home and help him implement those recommendations within the shortest possible time. I put the ball back in your court. Help him. Was privately, openly, I have intervened, counseled the governor. Only yesterday I told him again, pursue the path of peace. And stoop to conquer and not become perishable. I've seen what all of you have tolerated and been doing. Community development is a matter very close to my heart. I have some of you doing very well in terms of Niger Delta. Oboku, the MD of NDDC, is doing a good job. Encourage him. To achieve more. And you mentioned the Senate. I'm proud and very happy that I am with the Senate President. He's a good man. And is competent and deserves the leadership of the most important arms of government. He's your son. We are all proud of him. Yes. There are a lot of there's misadventurers around Nigeria and the world of twist of turn of our democracy. We'll continue to work on preserving the integrity and the character of our people, of our legislature.
All right, away from the comments of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, earlier today, Governor Wike had a media parley, and in that hour of conversation, he reacted to what has been going on in Rivers State. So let's have a listen to what he said, and then we'll talk.
I follow the path of rule of law. I follow the path of justice. In this country, we only like people who carry out violence. We don't like people who say, look, let the rule of law prevail. Let justice be done. When you go to court, people think you're making problem. But when you go and snap picture to say, I will disrupt the oil pipeline, and then government will respect you. People will respect you. We don't want crisis. But people come and say, look, what you are doing is not right. Can we follow due process and do this? I cannot believe it in this country we are today. For whatever reason it is. Nigerians are talking about stressing the issue that 3 members of the House will sit and make laws for a state that we are talking about Supreme Court. Do we need to go to Supreme Court? I mean, just tell me, in a modern democracy, in the modern world we are, forget about you don't like Wike, you must not like Wike. You don't need to like him. As we are seated here, in your own conscience, are you telling me 3 members who constitute a parliament? Hold on.
6 members while you were governor.
Yes. That's not correct now, please. You see, people should stop all this. Even when they say so, why not do your own researches? It's not what they say, what is your own research? Remember, assembly was inaugurated. Remember there was tribunal. Court of Appeal nullified some seats. Court of Appeal nullified some seats. Before that time, the budget had been done. And then we did a rerun. And assembly was full. If anybody tells you that I, as governor, presented budget to the number that's not what is required by the Constitution, it's a blatant liar. Bring the prove it. It's not a question of going to Arise, which is their normal television, or going to a channel. No. Prove empirical evidence.
People are saying that you are not magnanimous in victory.
In victory.
It's like a winner takes all things.
Well, hold
that
on.
you are grandstanding.
Hold on, winner what? You see, put in the winner what? What did you win? Now let me say something. Don't distract me. Let me say something. You said the governor Richard. You have had a frosty relationship with an arm of government. If you're a good politician, it says that you go and write later. Hold on. If you're a good politician, you have had a frosty relationship with me. For how many years? I've never sat down with you. I've never spoken with you. You see my salaries. You see my allowances. Granted by law. You took it. No problem. Now you won a court of appeal. It didn't even occur to you. Even though I won a court of appeal, I think what peace. The matter went to Supreme Court. And Supreme Court now gave judgment. Then the next thing you will do, that you want to implement, who says no? Is it by writing letter? And who signed the letter? A bloody SSG. Who signed letter to a head of arm of government? What an insult is that? You are telling me here, sending to government will sign letter to the President of Senate or to Speaker of the House of Representatives. The President is coming to present budget. Is it right it is done?
What should he have done?
If you're a politician, you know what to do. Look, I don't understand. Listen. First of all, assuming you want to go through that route, what is normally done? You call the leadership and say, listen, this is where we are. I want to present this budget back to you. They agree. Okay. Let's look at it. That would be okay for us. You are not the one to write that I'm coming to present budget tomorrow. Who does that? No, who does that? You went to play to the gallery that you wrote a letter, which is rubbish. I have been in government. I don't just write a letter to Mr. Speaker. I'm coming to present budget tomorrow morning. I tell your children. Do you know their engagement? All this is done is to tell you that I'm sincere. Mr. Speaker, where are you? Are you at home? Can you come? Can I come? Can we talk? And they agree on something. And then Mr. Speaker will go back and call his colleagues. Listen, Mr. Governor called me. I met with him. He said, look, he wants to present budget so day. It's okay. Monday, Tuesday. But Speaker, you know that our schedule is so tight. Okay, no, let us accommodate. That's how things are done. All these letters you are writing is useless. You are not sincere. You are playing to the gallery. Everybody knows you are not sincere. You are playing to the gallery. A true politician will not do that way. Let me tell you, Mr. President was to present budget to the National Assembly. Assembly people were not happy for one thing or the other. We met in ESCO, and they said, oh, they've shifted it to the next social day. Why? He had to meet with leadership to agree some gray areas. He doesn't need to write letter. A man who does not want peace is a man who will play to the gallery. Writing a letter, I've written letter. Written letter to who? To your son?
Well, you make this meeting sound very, very easy. After a frosty relationship, that might not be very easy.
That's the point I'm trying to make. Okay, so now you'll agree with me. After a frosty relationship, you have suffered their families. They cannot pay their children's school fees. Their money they are entitled. Court gave order, you cannot stop their money. You had a penchant of disobeying court orders. This is a country where, I have never, we like things that somebody is doing something wrong. Instead of you to come out to say, look, what you are doing is wrong. You go and capture, oh, it is a social political opponent. What kind of rubbish is that? Must you not have opponent? In politics, must you not have opponent? Is there any law that says in politics, everybody must queue behind you? So what is all this? Oh, his opponent. So what? If you give your opponent opportunity to make you unstable, then you will be unstable. You will be. There's no law. After all, there are also people who are working against Tinubu's administration. So Tinubu cannot come and complain. My opponents are working against his opponents. Did they tell me that they will make him to be comfortable? Who does that?
Your Excellency, some people might say, the frostiness is, on both sides in terms of the ultimatums that were given.
Yes,
the ultimatums that were given by the Amir Wule's-led legislators about presenting the budget, and also the issues of the commissioners that were elected without vetting from the...
Now you are taking that point. Now let me tell you something. Are you not going to commend them? That they even agreed that we are ready. Can you present the budget? You are presenting to 3 people now. So the budget is there. It's not as if you are going to do it. Okay, carry it. Come on, we are ready to work with you.
But
for the interest...
The nuance was different.
I'm coming. What?
The nuance was different. They gave them an ultimatum.
No, you see, that's the problem. Come. When you say automatic, I said, within 48 hours, submit your budget. What is substance? No, I can't be ready by 48 hours. Give me 1 week. What is wrong in that? Why we always capitalizing on things that if you really want the peace of the state, Why are you picking on things that will not help? If the legislators say, we are going on recess for the interest of the state, if you can present the budget, we do for them, because we're living on recess. Have they not done well? All you would have done as a sincere person is to say, look, no, it's too urgent for me. Can you people shift your recess? Give me 1 week. That's how people do things. You don't just come out, hey, why should I give up to me? Who the hell are you? No, listen. Who the hell are you? The governor is not sincere. I never knew he's this kind of character. Let me tell you, Supreme Court said that no 3 member can sit and legislate for the state. You took your Attorney General, Commissioner, for these 3 members to screen. And Supreme Court said it's not possible. And some people said, look, submit the list of members of your cabinet. We are willing to screen them. Instead of us to applaud them, you are saying, why should they give time limit? I'm traveling. I want to do it now before I travel. What's wrong in that? Now what you did, to hell with those a lot of people. Those are the people.
Honorable Minister.
Your selfish interest.
Those are people actually.
Yes.
Can I finish?
Those are people who elected
Hold on, it's not correct. Those are people who are deceiving the governor, who are collecting his money. Let me tell you, if they're intelligent, governor, they gave you 48 hours. Governor, tell them 48 hours is not enough. I need 1 week. You don't go and begin to sow seed of discord. You don't do that. As they are now, they are hot. It is in your place to say, look, I know you're hot. I'm sorry. See what has happened. Don't act as if you're a father. Now, what they did, when the assembly said, submit list, he now told his commissioners to go to court. The commissioners went to court, challenging the assembly that we cannot live as commissioners after Supreme Court has given judgment on this matter.
Is that a fact?
It's the truth. They went to court, State High Court. Of course, you know, the worst State High Court today we have is the State High Court.
So now you just heard from the president. I mean, there's basically nothing that he has not tried to solve this problem. And it still boils down to, we just saw Lagos recover from all that has played out. So in your own opinion, professionally, how do you think peace can be guaranteed in Rivers State in the light of this Wike versus Fubara thing that has been playing on for a while now?
I think the only thing, I said it in my last appearance, that Wike should continue his good work that he's doing in FCT. We are seeing it, we are applauding him, and we are appreciating him. He should continue his work and leave Rivers State. He has played 8 years in Rivers State. Now it's the turn of another person. He should allow the person who is there to also play his role. Even though it's for 4 years, let him finish his tenure.
But in a situation whereby he doesn't want that, I mean,
it's a very simple thing.
Times. This is same Wike that has said that I will make Rivers State ungovernable. And right now, that word has come to pass.
Yes, it's a very good thing. Somebody who planted pawpaw and the pawpaw tree grew up and started bringing fruit, and now you carry chemical and you are pouring on top of the pawpaw, you too, you will lose, because your effort, your wisdom, and your sense of planting and everything is there. And that's the same thing I'm talking about Wike. He planted a very good leadership skills and directions, and a lot of projects he did for Rivers State. He has done it well. He should not use his hand again to say, I will make it ungovernable. If he's doing that, it's going to affect him also, because he's also from the Rivers State. And he should not forget also that he has family, he has friends, he has well-wishers that are still there. Now, Rivers State issue is not a new issue. We have understood it. Don't forget the place of when Amechi became governor. Don't forget the place of Celestial Mayor. All these ones are people that played one role or the other. There have been crises from one government or the other. it was only during Wike's time that he enjoyed his 8 years leadership. But other governors, apart from Peter Odili and Wike, all other governors suffered one impeachment crisis, one trouble or the other before they got to this time.
Here is Fubara saying, come, let's have it. He has publicly declared that he is going to follow through with the rulings of the Supreme Court. And the other party is no show.
Now, the truth be told, if we want to go through the electoral law as amended 2022 says if you leave a political party to another party, you lose to your position. But because, yes, because of, yeah, there was a document. We in Labour Party, we have been following everything that the electoral law say. There is document. But if Supreme Court is saying there is no document to that, it's because they are the one in power. They can indoctrinate the document and they can out the document. It's them, they are in power. So they are only doing what suits them. But I want to tell you the truth is that if we want to really follow it, these House of Assembly members that left the party that elected them have lost their position in the office. So, and if Wike again, if Fubara in his kind mind said, come, let us sit down. Come, let us reason together. This is our state. Let us see how we can build our state and achieve what we need to achieve for our state. Come, shade your sword. Let us move as a team. And they are refusing. They should not worry because he is doing his work. Even with all this crisis that has been happening for the past 2 years, Fubara is paying the Rivers workers constantly.
But the Supreme Court has directed that revenue will stop for the time being.
Even the revenue that has stopped for some time, the revenue that stopped, have you forgotten that there was a time that Fubara, there was no money for River State, and he was still paying his workers, he was still paying staffs? It was because he has another means. Don't forget that this Fubara we are talking was part of the success of Wike government. So he knows the in and out of Wike's government. So if Wike is coming through the left, they were, as I said, there was a governor that was a script writer of the Aso Rock. The same thing, Fubara was part of the script writer of what? The River State. And today he's a chief executive. Don't underestimate the power of the chief executive.
So now there's been talks of moves to impeach. I think that's the vibes that the Amewule-led assembly is already pushing, because if the governor is calling you for a meeting and you're not coming, it shows that there's ulterior motive. For someone like Fubara, how does he shield himself for this remaining period of his tenure?
Just like he said, he is not key to power. Anything that comes, he takes it. I think I like his simplicity for power. I like his simplicity for leadership. If they are thinking to destabilize River State, to cause unrest, as Wike have said, in River State, is the best for them. Let them go ahead. Is it not their state? It's their state. They will be the one that will go backward. If they impeach him today, they will still go backward. It means they will still go back. As I said, it's not a new thing. They did it to Celestine Omea. They did it to some other persons. The River State was a state that has 3 governors in 1 year. 3 governors in 1 year, before Amechi came on board. So it's not a new thing if they bring it up again today. It's not a new thing. We are where we know. So the only thing is just that is their state. As a political analyst, I will advise Fubara to stay focused and continue his good work. And he should be prayerful. And for the people who are planning that they are going to remove him, if you remove him, are you going to be there forever? One day you too will be removed.
So let's look at President Tinubu's charge to the Niger Delta. Obviously, he's been monitoring what's going on behind the scenes. But these people have been talking, I mean, it's not today they've been speaking. So what magic is the Niger Delta elders?
No, certainly I want to tell you that the Calabari people have played their part. Wike has done his part 8 years as a Calabari leader. And Fubara is from Ijo. It's time for the Ijo. So it is now going to cost a serious mayhem between the Calabari and the Ijos. So I want to say it that with what Mr. President have said, Mr. President is right. And thank God for Fubara as a good boy. He has said he's going to follow every directive of the Supreme Court. And the directive is, come, let us settle together. So if they are not accepting to settle together, he too has his own way. And don't forget one thing. That is the only state that their state assembly sits in the government's house. That's the only state, because they don't have a chamber.
That was allegedly
yes.
by Fubara himself.
Yes. So now, if they want to impeach him, are they going to stay in the speaker's house or his guest house to remove him? That's another question. Because taking a decisive decision has to be where? In the chambers of the state assembly. And the chambers is only where? In the government house. That is why I told you politics is calculative. So you have to come into the government house, have your meeting inside the government house, then raise the mace, are you getting it? And take your decision. And those in favor will say aye, and the ayes will have it. But if you don't have access to government house because you don't want to sit with the government, then you are going to tell yourself where you will do the meeting. Maybe they will come and do it in Wike's office in Abuja.
All right, we're still having conversations with Peter Hassan and just trying to make sense of the current state of Nigeria's politics in the light of firstly, we looked at politics of interest and defections, and just recently seeing how peace and progress can be made in Rivers. Finally, before we wrap things up, we want to look at the alleged misconduct of the Senate President, and of course, recently allegations by Senator Natasha Akpabio against Senate President, and her suspension from the Red Chamber may not be getting off the news anytime because Natasha, the Kogi senator, on Tuesday took her case to the global stage at the Women in Parliament session, which was held at the Inter-Parliamentary Union meeting in the United Nations in New York. And she is seeking justice and intervention of democratic global institutions. She's asking for justice over what she has described as the injustice meted to her. And she's described her suspension as illegal. And this morning I was listening to the response from one of the key speakers at that particular assembly at the union, and they were like, okay, they will actually listen to both parties, and then they will find out a way to speak her case. Now, when you are at plenary, those are the kind of response you would want to hear. You listen to both parties. And that was like, okay, was that not what Senator Natasha was demanding from the National Assembly? Your quick reaction.
Yes, it is a very direct thing. Natasha said she should be given a fair hearing. Like as I said when I came to the studio, I said she was wrong in the first place for not moving to her seat, which everybody accepted it. And the lingering issue that is coming up as suspension. A suspension is not right. A suspension is not right. Because if you say Natasha is suspended for 6 months, it means her senatorial district in Nigeria has been suspended from everything.
But the Senate has said time and time again that this is not as a result of sexual harassment, but as a result of that flouting of the Senate rules on sitting arrangement. And the fact that you cannot speak from a
And that's why I'm saying a fellow senator cannot suspend a fellow senator, because the senator is...
It has been done. She's not the last
no, that's
senator,
what I'm saying.
or neither the first to be suspended.
And she was not the first person who stood up and was speaking. We saw the like of Remi Tinubu during Saraki tenure. When Saraki was talking, Remi Tinubu, when she was a Senate representing Lagos, she was there. She was there. Saraki was telling her to sit down. She said, no, I must make my point. I must make my point. She went to the extent of people raising her hands. We saw it and nothing happened. She wasn't suspended. So if it has happened to Remi Tinubu, why is it not happening to this one now?
Now, Honorable, they've been calling for political solutions, like away from the media and court kind of resolution. With this move that Senator Natasha has taken, can that
yes, it can. Yes, it can. Yeah, the method can still work
because Nigeria's name is out there.
Yes,
and not in a good light.
The name has already gone out. So the only thing that the Nigerian Senate have to do is to shield their sword, reduce the punishment. Are you getting it? Because they've taken a decision already. Reduced the punishment. Are you getting it? And allow her resume back her plenaries. Don't forget, You can see now they say they want to hear to the second party. So it means our Senate president will shamefully go and face women. Which Senate president has ever gone to face that?
The Senate president will go. They will probably want to hear from him. So it will be his decision.
Sir, this is the
to
same
speak or not.
Mona, I want you to understand that this is the same issue of Natasha has come in person. So you will not come and speak on media. You have to also come what? In person. These are mothers. These are part of his sisters. These are part of his wife. These are part of his mothers that are sitting there and say, okay, our daughter and your sister has come to complain. We want to hear from you. He can't send somebody because that parliament is a very, very strong parliament.
Now, when these kind of allegations begin to fly out in the international media space, and we've seen the efforts by the president, to bring in foreign investments, diplomatically speaking, this could have implications because painting Nigerian leaders in a bad light. So now that it has gotten to this level, is it time for the president to...
So that is why we are calling that Mr. President, President Ahmed Tinubu should call on the parties together out of camera in the closed door meetings, settle them, and let Natasha, let the punishment be reduced. Let Natasha come and apologize and continue.
But she's not willing to do that.
No. It is only if she's not given a fair hearing. What she's requesting for is somebody should listen to the two of them. If you are listening to Akpabio, you should also listen to me. If you are listening to me, you should also listen to Akpabio.
What about those that are also asking her to bring proof?
Natasha, before she will get to this stage, she has her proof. Now we are not talking about proof. We are talking about settlement. In the place of settlement, everybody shield what? His sword. You shield your sword and come to dialogue table, and in dialogue table, issues can be amended. Oh, I know very well Mr. Tinubu is somebody who has wisdom, and he knows how to settle issues. Is to call them together, talk with them. The wife of the president can interfere if she wants to.
But
the way she that's why I say she would have. But for me, if I have been in the shoe of Remi Tinubu, I will not say anything till this minute. Because it's too early for her to come to the media and respond to the issues. Because one, she has not sat down with the two of them. They are like son and daughter of the nation. Apart from the position that Akpabio is holding, don't forget, Natasha is also Akpabio is because he's an elected senator. That's why he's in the 10 chambers. And because Natasha also is in the 10th senator, that's why she's also in the red chambers. So the two of them were elected by their various states and their various senatorial districts to come to the house. So they are representing a whole lot of thousands and millions of people. So they have right for fair hearing. But I know very well that Tinubu can handle this issue. Baba can handle this issue. And before you know, they can write to the parliament and tell the parliament, oh, we have handled, it's an internal issue, and we have solved our issue internally. If not so, it will affect us globally.
Well, we can only hope that the right thing is done. Our time is fast spent, but we will take a break. Once again, Honorable Peter Hassan, thank you so much for being on our show.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
And that's our show for today. Many thanks for watching, and keep it locked right here, as we'll be right back on Friday to follow up our conversations in the polity. Once again, my name is Morno Balagbogo. Many thanks for watching.